Chapter 8. Celestial Storytime. Jamai did not hesitate to turn the page to the opening of the next chapter in this first part of his godfather's fascinating story, and continue reading silently. Human reader, the moment to begin celestial storytime had finally arrived in second heaven. And so, still sandwiched by my guardian angel Gen Rev and her friend Angel Rev Gen, I leaned forward and watched hawkishly as the chief chronicler and 4 of the recording angels, who had sat around the crystal table representing the 7 special Earth humans of Rage Avenue and Simple City, approached 4 of 8 storytellers' podiums that were positioned slightly to the left of the center of the gathering in a semicircular formation. The chief chronicler halted behind a crystal lectern on the middle podium and cordially introduced himself to the celestial universe. And then he told the recording angels, standing on both sides of himself, to introduce themselves. I, once again, heard their names and the names of the 4 humans they were representing. Specifically DeVillain Manslayer, Raymond Reeder, Caleb Reeder, and Tommy Madden. After this, the chief chronicler began introducing a multiple point-of-view third-person format in which to tell their first collection of stories titled The Genesis of the Conflict Resolvers of Simple City, Volume 1, Rotten Roots, 1984 to 2035. And then he uttered politely, "Dignified audience, here is a synopsis of the pilot story." He then paused, and within that beat of silence, I laced my fingers together. Then he continued speaking. When a traumatized 11-year-old boy was adopted by a wealthy couple residing in Simple City of Manchester, Jamaica, his adoptive parents gave him the new name Joey Simpleman. But now, being 20 years old, they warn him against becoming as wayward as Mark Mackenzie, who at the age of 10 was already so hated. Even his mother wanted him gone for good. Joey knows Mark all too well to ever object to this warning from his adoptive parents. At least, not openly. Joey also knows that Mark aspires to be the most powerful man in Simple City. For here, just like Rage Avenue, reside simple people with big hearts, one of whom is a beautiful woman named Grace Williams, who might eventually change both Joey's and Mark's lives forever. Joey and Mark might soon also meet DeVillain Manslayer, a man who is rumored to be so meticulous about his status in life. He hates when the sun goes down and he is still angry at someone. So much so, he would often rid Simple City of anyone he believes causes him to be angry each day, most times, just before sunset, so that he can sleep well at night. Some of the residents believe it is a crime too easy for him to do, yet a hard habit for him to break. But are these just false accusations piled against an innocent man who just happens to have big dreams for his hometown? For some sunsets are more aesthetically appealing than others, and some problems are more difficult to rid Simple City of than others. Nevertheless, some residents are said to be more prepared to confront DeVillain and his suspected minions than others. It is also believed that even DeVillain's own demons from his dark childhood loom over him so closely that not even his 2 name changes and his new places of residence seem to be able to hide his despair. And yet, if the accusations are valid, DeVillain might still have a chance to either choose the narrow pathways to resolutions, or the wider pathways to epic conflicts riddled with crime, of which, perhaps, neither Joey nor Mark can avoid being prime targets to be killed. Joey and Mark might, therefore, have to make drastic unilateral decisions to save Simple City. For with DeVillain heading the list of prime suspects for recent deadly incidents in the community, both Mark and Joey would either have to unite each other's best traits to confront DeVillain and change the community for the better, or remain in shadows as DeVillain changes Simple City, and then Rage Avenue, and by extension, the entire island of Jamaica for the worse. This first episode in the story of the genesis of the Jamaican conflict resolvers kickstarts the thrilling suspense surrounding one man, who, like the residents of Simple City and Rage Avenue, realize that he, too, is involved in the natural and spiritual warfare between the forces of good and evil. Here ends the synopsis. Now, please brace yourselves to experience a wild and entertaining ride. Thank you all for listening. I leaned back as the chief chronicler, having finished telling us the synopsis of the story, stepped back from his podium and folded his wings around his body. Then I surveyed the observable parts of the gathering, and it seemed to me that everyone's appetite for a good story was teased. And I, too, was already very interested to hear the details, to say the least.